is a full moon in Libra, which is definitely my sign. So you guys know I have a lot to say about it. But it also is all about reflecting your relationships. And with this full moon in Libra, I am seeing the very stark contrast of who is energy giving in your life and what relationships are energy draining. And I have a feeling that you're probably seeing that too. So I can't wait to dive in. We'll pull some cards. Of course, it's a full moon, and I cannot believe we don't have a full moon gathering scheduled for today. We have so many events coming up that I've been trying to pace myself because, when I first started these gatherings, I was doing every new moon, every full moon. And at some point I realized that's every 2 weeks. And we did that, which is how we've hosted over 250 events over the last 10 plus years. But I decided that it's so important for us to really slow it down and focus on doing only a few events at a time. So when this full moon landed on WooWoo Wednesday, I was just so excited because I thought, let's burn some bullshit together. Because I love a good goddess release. And speaking of goddess, I have been getting ready for the goddess retreat. It is literally 3 weeks away in Florida. And I'm just so excited because what's interesting this year is so many of the women that are coming are over 50. And I've actually been tweaking and changing some of my rituals and experiences based on the women that are joining, because what I'm realizing is that women that I would teach in their 20s and 30s, they just don't even have a clue who they are. They still are at like self-hate level. Wake up, don't like my life. Whereas women in their 50s and older, I have this philosophy as a hairstylist that women in their 20s are clueless, 30-year-olds are figuring it out, 40-year-olds are like, fuck it, and 50-year-olds are like, I'm free. And so I want to curate an experience for women who are in that I'm free stage. I've raised children. I've done this career for a long time. And now I'm really ready to step into a new version of myself. And it's really exciting to see that being reflected in the women that are showing up, because I'm in that phase of my career. Although I'm not 50, I am at a turning point where I'm leaving behind a 20-year hair salon career to embrace this new chapter of my spiritual mentorship and the intuitive business coaching, as well as hosting these events and retreats. So it's crazy. I have a feeling you're probably at a turning point too, especially coming off of that eclipse season and moving into the new season astrologically. And Aries is always that first sign of the trailblazing zodiac. So you're probably getting some fire back, some momentum, some energy, and you're excited about new projects or new directions. So if that's you, drop a comment, like say hello. I am definitely going through some changes in my life. I'm excited about exploring new chapters or getting curious about who I am in this new creative expression that I want to show up in. So let me know, are you here? Who's live? Drop your name in the chat. Say hello, everyone. It's been crazy. I've been trying to set up the last few weeks, I've been trying to go live at 6 o'clock. We started, we've done this at 3 o'clock for the last 10 years. And I decided let's start doing it in the evening. I think that would be so moody and such a vibe. But every single time I've been trying to go live at 6, my camera will not turn on. So it took me a little bit of time. So if you're live, thank you so much for tuning in. I am just so grateful to be here on this beautiful full moon, especially in Libra. You guys know I'm a sucker. So let's talk about that. Relationships. I went to a birthday this morning, and I love birthdays. Let's start with that. My dad gave me a book when I was a kid that was all about birthdays and celebrating your birthday. And so for some reason that planted in my subconscious that birthdays are important. We need to celebrate them. And maybe it's the Libra in me. I don't know. But I've always been a big fan of birthdays. And over the last few years, I've had a lot of girlfriends tell me that they don't want to celebrate their birthday, that they haven't done it in years. They don't know if people are going to show up. They don't want to go through that letdown energy. And that really made me sad to hear that from a lot of my amazing friends. And today I went to a birthday party, and it sounds like I'm an 8-year-old, but we went to World Springs, and she said, I invited 42 people, and it was me, her mom, and one other beautiful soul there. And I thought a couple of things. First, I thought how grateful I am to be able to go on a Wednesday morning, afternoon, and celebrate a friend during the week, whereas everyone wrote back and said, sorry, I have to work. Sorry, I have to work. So my first thought was gratitude. And my second thought, after having that conversation about feeling let down when women don't show up for your birthday party, it really made me sad to think like, there are women in community, or there are women that don't have that community that want to lift them up and celebrate them and cheer their birthday on. And that's why I make it such a big deal, whether you're my friend or not, or if you're in the Shine Tribe and I know it's your birthday, like I always want to shout you out because you matter. And so I think today's lesson, especially in this full moon in Libra, is really about what your relationships are reflecting to you at this time in your life. Who are the ones showing up for you? Who are the ones equally pouring into your vessel? Because I have found so many empaths and leaders and light workers and givers are the ones constantly pouring into everyone else. It's honestly why I stepped out from behind the chairs. I was tired of hearing y'all say, I do everything for everyone. Who's going to do it for me? So I chose not to have kids and decided that I'd be a mother to the world. And that's what happened. I started building containers so that the overgivers could actually come and recharge because no one's coming to do it for you. That was a huge wake up call and letdown for me to realize like, but I do it for everyone else. Like, who's going to come do it for me? Have you found that person yet? Yes, you're here. Okay. But seriously, you understand what I'm saying. I was just on an interview call with a woman who's applied to the Goddess Retreat, and she's a hairstylist. She said, I work 12 hours a day, every day. And I remember the 20-year-old version of me that used to work that much. And she is not 20. She is not 30. She is not 40. And so it really like got me thinking about how much we give, how much energy we pour into other people. And are we allowing, first of all, ourselves to receive? Second of all, is the imbalance? Are you getting that nourishment from the people you're choosing to spend your time with? If you're on the hairstylist train or if you work with clients like 7 or above, you guys know, if you've been here a while, you know the 7 or above rule that we live by in the Elevated Life Club. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much joy does it bring you? And if it's not a 7 or above, it's got to go. Clients, clothes, attitudes, okay, old lipstick. Like if it is not in your frequency of like what is authentically resonating with you now, it's just time to release. And so all of that to say is that your relationships right now are reflecting back to you either a very stark, harsh energy of like, this doesn't feel right anymore. Like, this is not fair. This is not equal. This is like, I'm realizing my value and my worth in this relationship. And I've poured into you forever. And I feel like all I get is like dumped on. And I think that a lot of us empaths are starting to wake up to boundaries. Hey, and it's important for us to say, I think I'm going to take a step back from this relationship and give it some space. And so with this full moon in Libra, you're probably releasing relationships that are toxic, but have been in your life a long time. And it might even feel uncomfortable. Like, I can't believe this is finally coming to a close, whether it's a client or a partner, or maybe your relationship to a parent. Who knows what your reflection is at this time. But with it being a full moon in Libra, I guarantee that your relationships are on the table right now. So what relationships right now, just take a moment to like breathe into this. What relationships right now, immediately when you think of like draining you, who comes to mind or what comes to mind? Maybe it's your relationship to alcohol. It's not just relationships to people. Where are you at? Hello, everyone. So good to see you guys. Okay, let me just check. Definitely, I've had a lot of changes going on in my life for the last 6, going on 7 months. Yes, totally understand that. I'll be turning 50 on June 29th. Amazing. 2 hours ahead. Hi, Julie. So good to see everyone. Hi, Dory. Okay, just wanted to take a moment to tune in. Let me pull up the chat here on YouTube. Hi, Tanya. I am definitely there. Took the leap and will be joining the beautiful goddesses in a couple weeks. Sparkle magic, Tanya. I'm so excited to get to pour into you and hold this space. I literally knew in my bones. I kept telling Chris, like, I know it in my bones she's supposed to be there. So I'm so glad you felt it in your bones too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so all this talking about full moon and Libra, let's get to some card pulling. All right. And I always, of course, pull a card for myself over the last 15 years. And I pulled the Ace of Pentacles today for myself. So it was just sitting on top of my deck. And we have the 10 of Pentacles on bottom. You guys know last week I taught you I love looking at the bottom of the deck as like a period statement to that. So the Ace and the 10, like, talk about the beginning and the end. Oh boy, I'm already rhyming. So you know I'm going to channel some good shit today. All right, I'm just going to shuffle with the intention that we all receive the message that we need most at this time on a full moon in Libra, that our relationships that are no longer in alignment make themselves obvious and release with ease in our life. Do not hold on to any of those old relationships that keep you feeling less than valuable, less than worthy, where it's a struggle to say no or put up boundaries. This is, oh gosh, y'all, lovers in the sun. I'm liking what's happening right now. I'm really excited to see what we can create, because our relationships reflect the way that we treat ourselves. Mama always taught me, you teach people how to treat you, and it's by the way that you treat yourself. And so I have a feeling that not only are the relationships that are showing up that reflection, you're also going to start to reflect inward and ask, how can I take responsibility here? How have I not been showing up fully? And before I pull, you guys know I love a good chat. Before I pull the cards, I'll share this one story. At Goddess Retreat a few years ago when we were in Colorado, I always do the work with you guys. I think it's important to be in that energy, and I'm always changing and evolving. So it's interesting to go back over the years and see all the journals that I've filled out every year and what my goals are and how they stay consistent. To be honest, it's just a little bit more gets done every single year, like towards the big goal. Because when we're at Goddess Retreat, not only do we focus on like the immediate 6-month goals, 1 month, 5 month, we also talk about 10-year and lifetime goals so that we can create some clarity across each chapter of our life so that we can stay consistent on our mission. And we work through the chakra system. So there's no matter where you're at in your spiritual or business or personal growth, we will find where you are successful and we will find where you are leaking energy. And there is a throat chakra exercise that we do, and we do a lot of journaling. And one of the journaling exercises for the throat chakra was all about relationships and friendships. And when I was doing my high performance coaching with Brendan Bouchard, I went to one of his conferences, and he said that when they did this study on longevity, they were testing, of course, the blue zones and, if you eat meat, if you don't eat meat, if you live near water, they were testing all the different variables on what creates the longevity in someone's life. And this is the most fascinating thing that I took away from that conference, although we did do some cool stuff in high performance. But I find it interesting because he said that the key factor in longevity was your relationships and connections to other people. And I think that's probably, now that I'm reflecting on it over 12 years ago, I'm thinking maybe that's why I really focused on building community connections, putting people back into heart coherence with each other. And with it being that full moon in Libra, I think it's important for you to really find your tribe, to find your people. I felt alone. And when I was doing this throat chakra exercise, one of the questions was about your friendships. How often do you want to be spending time with your friends? What is the relationship to your friends? How do they support you? How do you show up? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I have some beautiful friends, but I'm just not prioritizing them in my life. I don't have at my grandmother's funeral, the thing that really struck a chord with me is, she was Icelandic. And so she didn't really know a lot of Icelandic people when she moved to America. And there were 4 of them that had moved kind of in the same time frame. And for 25 years, every single month, they met and they called themselves the Lost Needle Club, because it was a sewing club, but they didn't sew. They just drank wine and ate food. And they did that for 25 years every single month. And they rotated each other's houses. And when the last of the 4 that was still alive stood up at my grandmother's funeral and told the story, it just hit me. I was like, if I started today, I don't think I would have like that length of friendships that my grandmother carried, even from a tiny country over to America. So there's no excuse. It's just, do we allow the love and the connections and the relationships into our life, and do we prioritize them? So I guess my intention for today is that you really reflect on who is in your life. Who are you allowing to be in your life? Who lifts you up? Who cheers you on? And especially with Easter and the family thing coming up, I'm realizing like I have a chosen family. I got blood family, but I have a chosen family, a soul family. And I feel so seen by people that are not blood, and so not seen by blood. So if you are recognizing those reflections through this time of Easter season, like give yourself that space to step back and say, well, who is pouring into me? Chris has always told me as an Aquarius, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And as a Libra, I'm like, I want 1,000. How can we make it 1,000? I want all of them. But I really do value I understand now what he means by making sure that you choose wisely. I'd rather have 4 quality friends than 100 half-assed ones. Okay. Can I get an amen? All right. I'm going to shuffle with the intention that we see the truth of our relationships to others and to ourselves, because honestly, it's the same. How we treat ourselves is who we attract into our life. I do have you, Miss Dory. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. I'm so glad you moved here and that we've been able to connect. I was just with Sarah A today, chatting about your event that's coming up. I can't wait to come play sound bowls for you. Oh, hey, there we go. Let me grab it. Okay, I pulled 3 cards for us, and we'll pull an oracle card at the end. I'm feeling it wants some time to breathe through these cards. All right, let's see what comes up for today. Just drop a ready in the chat or pump some hearts or something so I know we're alive, we're ready. It's a full moon in Libra. What are you releasing? Let's start with that. What are you ready to let go of? One thing. Normally on the burn the bullshit, I always have you just like free write and really get out every single thing that you are ready to let go of. But I want to know if you could wrap all of that energy into one word. What is it that you're releasing right now, today? Like not tomorrow, on this beautiful full moon. Oh my gosh, Ashley, so good to see you. Quality versus quantity. Absolutely, Gail. And you give quarter energy for sure. All right, sisters. First card for this full moon in Libra. Interesting. We have the 9 of Swords. This card is all about feeling restricted, feeling trapped by our limited thinking. And so the relationships that are coming up are probably reflecting back to you the story that you're telling yourself. Well, nobody gets me. So guess what? You're going to attract people who don't get you. Oh, I just saw a big yellow butterfly go by. If your story is people don't accept me because I'm weird, like come hang out with me, like we'll have a good time. But that might be a story that's keeping those people away from you. So what limited thinking or trapped thinking do you feel? And this is a loaded question because it's easy to get trapped by our own thinking, our ego, our mind. Like when we're in the storm, you don't know you're in the storm. So I'm asking you a very deep loaded question. And I think your deep awareness will activate and say, oh, I definitely have been holding myself back mentally in this area, in allowing more love or letting the walls down to have a new relationship or put myself out there or ask for the raise or take a risk and invest in myself, whatever it may be. Ashley says she's releasing what people think about me. Oh, Ashley, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but I always say, if you don't know my middle name, then your opinion doesn't count. Period. Like if you don't know my middle name, then how could you know anything about me to make an actual judgment? So that tells me that anything that isn't coming from a place of love and support is a projection. And if it's not, then I would have to take responsibility and check in with my own actions and say, well, how did I show up in this situation? And I think if you're someone who moves with mindfulness and integrity and intention, for the most part, you don't retract on how you showed up in the moment. So you can know in that, from that place of peace, that you were authentic, you showed up with love, you were integrous, and that's just a projection onto you. It's a very fine line, though. It's not an easy one. So how can we take control of take control of our mind being in control? I'll let you ponder that one. Oh, that's good, she says. Isn't that a fun one? It's like so much freedom because you're like, wait, you don't know me. You don't even know my favorite color. What instrument did I play in middle school? You don't know. So how could you judge me? All right. Next card for the week is the Knight of Wands. So this is about having that Aries fiery action energy of going forth and manifesting your ideas and your vision. So what I'm seeing is your negative thoughts and your beliefs and your fears and the stories you tell yourself on why it's not possible is actually the thing that's holding you back from being able to manifest the thing that you're most passionate about. You don't even need to know the how when you have passion behind it. I'm telling you, the heart power, the heart, they've measured it. It's 5,000 times more powerful than the way our mind thinks. So in manifestation is an electromagnetic experience, right? Electro being the thoughts and the magnetic being the feeling. That's why it's so important to cultivate. How do you want to feel? Like anytime I'm coaching someone and they are like, my goal is this. Well, how would that goal make you feel? Because that goal might not even produce those feelings. In fact, it might create the opposite. And we don't even think about that. So if your goal is to feel at peace and you tell me you want to run a Fortune 500 company, like we're going to have to do some serious meditation practices to get you grounded to be able to expand that capacity to hold that level, right? It's not that it's not possible. You just have to think about, well, if you want to feel successful, it's not necessarily maybe owning a Fortune 500 company for you. Success might be being able to go to World Springs on a Wednesday afternoon while everyone's at work 9 to 5. That could be success to you. You don't have to run a Fortune 500 for that. So I think it's very interesting. What's coming up is like maybe the story you're telling yourself on why your big dream isn't possible is because, one, is that necessarily your big dream, or is there a different approach or a different way you could get to the feeling that you're actually after? I'm curious to see the last card for the week, though. They're upside down. You guys know I never see them upside down. I don't usually read them upside down, but I'm finding this interesting today. The Eight of Pentacles. This is about furthering your education. So maybe you're at a point where you're ready to take your passions to that next level, but you're feeling limited in that story. You tell yourself, just today I was having a conversation with my girlfriend and she said, my husband just won't be a beginner again. His ego's too big. He doesn't want to feel like he's not the best at his job. And so this is what that card is saying is like, yeah, maybe you're a master at your craft and you've taken the best culinary and you've created the most amazing thing and the recipe and everybody wants it. But what this is asking you is to say, well, let's fine tune that culinary skill and add maybe French cuisine or add on pastries. Like it's basically refining, crafting, and adding to your already solid foundation. That's what all these cards, pentacles, these discs are on the wall. These are accumulated skills, accumulated talents and successes. And so you see he's head down, focused, keep producing the work, consistency. This is the don't give up card, keep going. But maybe you need to learn something new to be able to unlock that next level or that next chapter. Maybe you need to take a course, go to YouTube University. Maybe you need to hire someone, whoever's trailblazed in that path before you. Go ask them some questions, slide into their DMs. Like, how did you get started? How did you get here? What was your biggest fear? I'm sure there's a podcast for that. Okay. There's definitely a podcast, whether it's on the Elevated Life or anybody else's. Like the stories are out there. The information is out there. Now it's just a matter of you to take willing action, to follow your passion, despite the fears and the negative stories you tell yourself on why it ain't possible. It's only you, boo, who's holding you back. And that's the beautiful thing, because that's what can create freedom. We have to let go of the limited trap thinking. We have to step back into and be reconvicted towards our passions and the things that light us up. Take aligned action and keep that consistent head down work. Not hard, but work intentionally, consistently, mindfully, and refine your skills. Craft a new get some new skills, to take that your abilities to the next level. It's like why I have invested in so many programs like the high performance coaching or NLP work or hypnosis work or hair education, or Reiki, or how to be a psychic. Like I've invested in so much education so that I could learn these skills. I definitely was born like magical, but I had to learn some skills and refine myself. Like nobody comes out perfect unless you're like playing Mozart at 4, which, hey, is possible. Like that might be you in this lifetime. But what I know is that these skills were latent inside of me. They were dormant. I've maybe tapped into them in some previous experience. But it took me learning and remembering and re-educating myself on how to activate all of this. How do we use our mind and our body? How do we tune into the rhythms of the natural cycles of life? And how do we manifest from a place of feeling and not thinking? Because everyone's made a vision board and a lot of people haven't manifested it. And it's because they don't have that conviction, belief in their heart, and they're not activating the emotion on what that goal would bring them. And if you've ever been to one of my vision board classes, you're probably putting your visions in the wrong spots on the board, which we talk all about feng shui and how to do that. So I'm going to pull an oracle card to see how can we show up for our self-love in this Libra season, or well, not season, but full moon and Libra reflection of our relationship to self. All right, y'all. This has been so fun. Okay, I'm doing good. I'm like, my phone doesn't have a ton of battery, but we have some. Okay, what? 3 cards. All right. I'm not going to argue. We have 3 cards from the Oracle today. I have been releasing this vertigo I've been dealing with all week. Interesting, Tamlin. That, especially knowing that you had that little pass out incident at Goddess Retreat, it really makes me wonder what could be like, what's going on, girl? Like, we need to dive deeper into that. Releasing negativity, Perla says. Oh my gosh, Perla, I can't wait to see you at summer solstice. I'm releasing unworthiness, Tanya says. Oh, you guys are letting it go. I love it. All right, first card that comes up. Hello, Queen. Embrace your inner divine goddess. This is such a beautiful reminder. Keeps coming up every single week, it feels like, to tap into your feminine energy. It's interesting because I've been working a lot on my Manifest Your Dreams method. It's what I teach in my mastermind. I usually only open that mastermind to women that join the retreat or they come to summer solstice, because it's like even deeper work to be able to manifest your dreams. And I want to make sure people have done the mind, body, soul healing so that they're in the right frequency. I don't want them to gain the tools, but then they're like, well, I don't really want to use them. So I usually save that Manifest Your Dreams mastermind for retreaters. But I've been working a lot with this program lately and developing it into a certification for like spiritual feminine boss babe business owners. And it's really interesting because so much of what we're missing when I'm coaching women at high levels, what they're missing is the femininity. They have the structure, they have the foundation, they have the money, they have the team, they have the clients coming in, but they don't have the fun. They don't have the flexibility. They don't have the freedom and the flowiness. And they're just so in control mode and on guard of like, when's the next shoe gonna drop? And I have found over the years coaching these very successful women is what is missing is being able to say, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. It's okay to surrender to the moment and trust the process, not always trying to be like hand in the pie, like what's going on. I'm not saying that there's not value to having that type of energy. I believe you need it to build it, to get it off the ground, to have that discipline, the structure. But once you reach a certain spot in your personal growth and in your business growth, it's hand in hand reflection. It's why I teach both the spiritual mentorship as well as business growth. Most people just do one or the other, and that's what's missing. This is what's missing. I'm telling you the secrets right now. If you aren't having fun and being creative and slowing down and taking a break, like Chris asked me yesterday or today on the way home, I was like, I really need to go out to tour the venue for summer solstice. They've opened up a huge conservatory. We're doing a beautiful dinner under the stars, like through the glass, and oh my God, and flowers and twinkles, and it's going to be so amazing. So I want to go tour the venue now that they have a new addition to it, and we're changing up the layout and all the things. Anyway, long story short. So I'm trying to tell Chris, I'm like, I either have this day, or this day. I'm trying to coordinate. And he goes, well, do we have time next week to do that? And I just paused and I was like, what do you mean? Do we have time to do that? Like, this is important. This is an important thing. Like, of course we have time to do it. He's like, well, with everything we have going on, we're going to Sarai's retreat, then we're hosting our retreat, and you've got your aerial class, which, by the way, if you're local, I am doing this year again, our floating aerial sound bath. It is the most magical experience because you're weightless, floating in this cocoon of aerial silks. So we only have a few spots because we only have so many silks. So if you're local and you didn't know about this, April 12th, Sunday, it's at like 5:30 p.m. Definitely check it out. The events are in my link, my website. You guys know where to find it. Aerial yoga. So with all that being said, he's like, do we have time with everything that's going on? I'm like, you have to, like, we prioritize. Of course we do. Like, this is important. Like, why do we kid ourselves and thinking like, oh, we're so busy? I'm like, what, with all the 75,000 emails we have to write? Like, that can wait. Like, no one's going to like stop living if we don't write an email next week, or if we don't post on social, or if we don't record a podcast. Like, I think we get our priorities so mixed up. And it's interesting to see this because so many of us live by that checklist, to-do list, and they don't have the flexibility of putting in play and life. And sometimes, like, if homie's only available this day, yeah, we got time. We're going. Okay. So long story short, we're going to tour the venue next week. Okay. Maybe Friday, maybe tomorrow, or whenever it is. I don't even know where we're at. Okay. Full moon and Libra. This is powerful. Release the limiting labels you're wearing. This is something we're going to be doing at summer solstice because it's a very powerful part of our goddess retreat. And this year I wanted to change up our burn the bullshit release ritual and be very intentional about releasing the labels. So I think this is a relationship to self, full moon, perfect message. I mean, to really get clear on how you're treating yourself. What is your relationship to you? How do you treat yourself? Are you your own bestie, which is something we totally teach in Shine School? Or are you the one beating yourself up on the inside? Are you the one with the self-judgment and the criticism? When I see the remove the limiting labels, it's telling me that you are only as strong as the story you tell yourself. So with the 9 of Swords coming up, you need to pay attention to the thoughts that you think, because that is what is creating the experience that you're drawing into your life. When you focus on, you get what you focus on, or what you focus on tends to expand, right? Or Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So this is saying, what negative label has been coming up in your mind that is saying, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, I'm not whatever, like, what is that label that you carry? Mine from childhood were fat, bitch, and whore. And that is not a great label to carry, especially starting in 7th grade. And I realized that I was unconsciously energetically putting myself out there with those labels slapped on me, thinking everyone's about to judge me the way that I judge myself. And when I started telling myself that I'm amazing, that I'm creative, that I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm beautiful, which that was very uncomfortable for a very long time, I finally started to realize, like, I'm the one being mean to me. Nobody else is doing it. And again, if you're the one doing it, that's freedom. Don't beat yourself up, forgive, and set yourself free. And the last card is to allow unlimited abundance. This is interesting because I think as we are moving to this next chapter, I really feel like all the hard work and the growth is about to pay off in a way that we've never seen before. I think last year was kind of like the arrow being pulled back to test our faith, our grit, our resilience. And I think that arrow is going to be released, and we're going to be catapulted and pushed into a trajectory of our wildest dreams without as much resistance and a lot more effortlessly. Not saying that there's no action involved, but it'll be a lot more aligned where you're balanced in play. You allow yourself that creative freedom to rest. And when I think about allow unlimited abundance, it's easy to think of money as the first thing, but like, what about an abundance of support or of love or of health and vitality? My mom lately has like been super low energy, and maybe that allowing unlimited abundance is the abundance of life, the abundance of being able to have that energy to get up and do all the things you want to do and pour your passions into your work or serve the people in your community or your family and yourself. So what I'm seeing this week is really the power is in your hands, and it's the way that you talk to yourself, it's the way that you treat yourself, and it's the way that you value your own vision and your goals and your worthiness. So I'm excited with this full moon in Libra for you to recognize what needs to be released, the relationships that are reflecting back to you, the things that you may not like so much about yourself are the key to letting go of those old beliefs or those old stories. Because as you stop talking shit to yourself, you stop attracting the judgmental people on the outside. It's a really interesting concept that I would love for you to try. And I want to know one last time before we head out of here. I feel like I haven't gotten the warning yet that my phone's about to die, but I don't want to not have closure on a full moon. I resonate with those last two cards. Yeah. Remove the limiting labels and allow unlimited abundance. This is all of this has to do with the way that we talk and treat ourselves. And the best news here is that you're actually in control. You get to decide on how you treat yourself. And if the way that you've been treating yourself doesn't feel good, then this is your invitation to start something new, to try a new approach, to change the story, to imagine a new identity, a new version of yourself. Like when I had a coaching client book me when she was 20, I think she was 22 or 23 at the time. It was the youngest coaching client that had ever invested thousands of dollars into my coaching program. I was like, honestly shocked. I didn't even want to ask, like, how'd you get this money, girl? Who'd you steal this from? But what I learned is that both her mom and her stepmom had passed away by the time she was 16. And she was really struggling with her self-image. And I get it. In your 20s, we all struggled. I mean, hell, we're still struggling. Okay. But at that time we did some identity change work. And I asked her, when you imagine yourself, what do you see? And she said, I see myself from 7th grade. Babe, like, we're never going to get back to that 7th grade body, and we don't want to, because my boobies were not, so I think it's important for us to recognize that maybe just your own image of yourself is outdated. It's time to update what you look like. I was just talking to a friend. He was 400 pounds when I met him, and now he's like, 200, 230. And I had asked him, like, do you still see yourself as that like larger version? And he was like, oh my God, of course. And like, so what happens when you look in the mirror? He's like, I don't even know who that is. And it's because there's a disconnect with the mental image he's creating. And once he changes the way that he sees himself in his mind, that mirrored reflection in the physical world will start to make a lot more sense and feel comfortable, like you're in your own skin. And it all has to do with the way that we picture ourselves. So update your internal image and make sure that your relationships are in equal balance so that you feel nurtured and supported and not resentful. Use this time to release any toxic energies in your life, the relationship that you have with yourself always is number one and most important. And if you need support in that journey, we've got tools like Shine School, my 6-week online course. We have Shine from the Inside Oracle. If you're a woo-woo girly like me and want to pull self-love rituals every day, we've got my one-on-one coaching. So if you've been thinking about working with me, I literally only have like 1 or 2 days for coaching in April since we are getting ready for Goddess Retreat. I can't believe that this is our 6th year of hosting Goddess Retreats, and we're back in the same place where it all started. I just love going to Florida. The white sand beaches are actually quartz crystal, so it is so healing. Just energetically, physically, the second your feet are on the sand, you're like, why is this so cold? And what is it doing to my body? So I cannot wait to get out to Florida, Gail. I can't wait to see you again in person and to just dance like a goddess queen with you. So that's where my energy is at for April, is full tilt investment in how do I pull off the most epic goddess retreat. We're adding even more adventures, more surprises. This year is going to be insane. I've changed some of the curriculum every year because we always have girls that come back. I've always had to change the curriculum just a little bit to keep it fresh, and they've grown. They don't need the same work. And this year, I'm excited to introduce some even new rituals for this crone wisdom and this older, wiser crew. So anyway, that is where my head's at all week. So all month, I'll be posting everything all about Goddess Retreat. So we have 2. After today's call, I loved her, so I'm thinking she's coming. But we have, I think, 2 to 3 spots left for this year's Goddess Retreat. So if you've been thinking about it, seriously, don't hesitate. Send me a message. I'll share all the details, or you can tap that link in bio and make some magic with us. Okay, I'm going to go before my battery dies on my phone, but thank you so much for being here on WooWoo Wednesday on a full moon in Libra. Sparkle magic to everyone who is ready to release and step into that next version of themselves. During this full moon, give yourself permission to write down and burn the bullshit. Everything that you're ready to let go of, give yourself full permission today to finally be done with it, to step into that power, to open up the space to receive. Even if you don't know what's next, you just need to create the space. It's like anytime you want a new outfit, just like go donate 5 and just somehow you find the perfect little magic. It just magically appears. So do the same with your life. Oh, I just got the 20% battery. So we've been doing good, y'all. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you guys so much. So good. So good to see everyone. Any questions? I totally understand that. Any questions, any thoughts, any ideas, relationships coming up? Let me know. I can't wait to join Shine School this month. Birthday present for me. Oh my God, Perla. So excited. We are going to have so much fun together. You have been really kicking ass. I've been watching you, girlfriend, and all the programs, and I can't wait to see you in person. I love you, Tamlin. Cannot wait for summer solstice too. Tanya's coming. So exciting. Me passing out April 3 years ago is the only reason I went to the doctor. That's so, oh my God. It's funny because I post a lot of videos of the Goddess Retreat and the testimonials and the photos, but I don't actually share a lot of the stories that happen. And Tamlin, when we had you there, it was, and I'll share this last story before I go, because I feel like I've got 20% left. We can squeeze out some more hangout time. We brought a biofeedback machine to Goddess Retreat. And since I do chakra work and it's energetic fields, I wanted her to be able to measure our chakras and see, is the work that we're doing balancing, aligning, activating the chakras? And wowza, I was pleasantly surprised with the results. Once we got there on day 1, we all scanned our energy to do a baseline. And at the end of the retreat, we did another scan, and every single person's literal biofeedback scan in their chakra system, all of their centers were more open, more in alignment. And it was so fascinating because Tamlin said she wanted to go out with a bang on her 44th birthday, which was her last day. It's the crowning, it's the crown chakra, it's the talk to the past loved ones, it's the sparkle magic dance party, it's the photo shoot, it's the day. And she had passed out, and she's my first and only person I've had to take to the hospital. So you win the prize. I mean, it had to happen to me at some point. So thank you for being you, because I love you so much and you're such an amazing soul. And I'm so glad we could support you through that. So thanks for making the hard part of being a retreat host easy in the best kind of way. But what was interesting is that on her, and I'm sure you're okay with me sharing this because I've pretty much called you out on passing out a number of times, but I've never really shared this cool part of the story. And I was telling a hair client one time, and she was like, what? I didn't know some of this stuff happened. So I realized I need to start sharing more of these magical experiences. Like the time this girl was put a picture of her dog on our altar and then had like some inner child work around the dog trauma. I mean, that's a long story and out of context, but anyway, so many cool stories. So anyway, Tamlin did her scan the night before the final day and the birthday and all of that. And what came up on her thing was raspberries and concussion. And the lady who ran the scan just said, have you been eating raspberries this week? And she was like, yes. Oh, like I had a cup yesterday or something like that. And she didn't want to say anything about like concussion because that didn't make any sense. But the next morning she ended up with a concussion. So it's fascinating that the biofeedback scans showed us what was even about to happen. That is mind blowing to me. And even more radical that everyone's chakras were more open, balanced, and aligned after being able to scan on the biofeedback machine. So proof, science that the sparkle magic we're making at Goddess Retreat literally does align you. So yeah, super cool work that we're doing there. Ashley, I know, isn't that so neat? So cool. Haha, it was the best. You're welcome, babe. Oh my gosh, seriously. So grateful for you and that you were okay. You know, that was obviously the most important thing. It was very scary. It was very scary. So we can laugh about it now because you're alive and well, but oh my gosh, that was terrifying. And here's the last crazy thing. I also learned don't do these retreats on an eclipse. It was also an eclipse moon. Was it a full? I think it was a full moon, eclipse full moon. Don't do these retreats on an eclipse because what it's going to do is it's going to bring up some of their deepest shadows, their deepest traumas. And when Tamlin was out at the hospital, we decided we were all going to blow up balloons for the house and make it beautiful. We hung streamers. We had a full cake for her. We did everything. And what I didn't know, because I'm not from Colorado and I've never experienced altitude, is that at high altitude, cakes don't bake right, lighters don't work very well, and balloons pop and combust like out of nowhere. And as these balloons are just randomly pop, 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 one of our sweet girls was in the Jason Aldean shooting in Las Vegas, and it was triggering some serious PTSD. So that retreat in particular around the eclipse definitely pulled up the trauma with the dog, the passing out, the gunshot trauma. Like, if you're a retreat host, don't do it on the eclipse unless you're ready to really hold space for all the shadows. So that was a big stretching moment for me as a guide, and realization of how powerful these shifting of the planets, and when the energies align, it allows for like the release of old memories and old things. And you know what? We spent the whole night doing Reiki energy on her body where she experienced the trauma, and we moved it out of there. It was like a really beautiful, like heart open connection, which is even more crazy because that night before she told us the whole story. Like she took us on that journey. We all experienced that, what it would be like to be in that type of traumatic experience. And so it's fascinating how it ended up playing out. Now I've got a bazillion of those stories, which I will start to tell more. But just wanted to share some cool insight as to what happens. Like the moment you invest in yourself, the moment you say yes to not just Goddess Retreat, this is not a promo for that, not just Goddess Retreat, but when you say like yes to yourself, things start to shift, things start to move even before you get to that class or before you have your call or before the new job comes in. Things start to align to get you into the vibration so that you can actually receive what it is that you're asking for. And it may seem like, well, this is out of left field. I can't believe this is happening, but it's just preparing you for the things that you're asking for. So I'm not sure what that was preparing me for, Tam, but I'm so grateful we could do it together. Oh my gosh, it was a full moon in Aries. Like literally, it was too much. It was too much. Tam, I don't remember that. Ooh, interesting. Maybe we should have a recap call and I can tell you all the things. You were definitely interested in the boobs and you kept asking, but is it my birthday? Where am I? I was like, oh, we got to go to the hospital right now. She is concussed. So I'm so glad we got to celebrate you. Crazy story. Had to share that because it's wild what can happen when you start to shift energy and energy starts to move and you're ready to actually release and let go of old fears and old doubts. And that's what a lot of today's reading was really about. Hi, Miss Sarah. Yes, I agree. I am feeling that now. Yeah. You guys have been so amazing. I am so grateful that we've gotten to spend this time on a full moon. It feels weird not, I mean, every single full moon for the last like 10 years, I've been hosting these gatherings. So there's a part of me that feels like, where are my sisters? I mean, we're here. Yes, I know, but like in person and burning and singing and chanting and sound bowling. I mean, my next goddess gathering, I guess that's to say, I've got a couple events I mentioned. April 12th in Plano, we've got Honor Yoga with the aerial sound bath experience. That's happening. We've got Goddess Retreat April 26th in Florida. Just a few spots left. Definitely reach out if you've been thinking about it. I'd love to bring you in, but it needs to be soon because we do personalization and the gifts and that. And our meet and greet call is next Sunday. So the other thing we have on the blue full moon in May 31st, we are doing a free goddess gathering at Saint Ritual. It's my favorite witchy shop that just opened up in Frisco. I've been working with them, and my Oracle deck is also there for sale. So I'm excited to bring you guys into this incredible store. And then we also have our manifesting tea party that's happening right now. It's set for May 24th. I am trying to find a different date because I have one girl who bought a ticket and can't join that date because I had to change it due to Mercury retrograde. So TBD, right now it is for May 24th, trying to find a day very close to then to reschedule it. And then, as you know, we've got June 19th for summer solstice, our 6th annual day of women's wellness, mind, body, and soul healing. So we've got some super fun events coming up in the next few months. So definitely get yourself in the room. If you're local, we've got tons of events. If you are not local, then I highly recommend checking out summer solstice, especially while our tickets are on early bird pricing. Get in the room. This is the most fun day of the year. I honestly look forward to it all year. Like the second we walk out of the slumber party from summer solstice, I'm already contacting sponsors and thinking about like, what do we need next? How do we get a slide? Where's the ball pit going to go this year? Like it's like my birth. It feels like I'm planning like the best birthday ever, but for all of us. So definitely come get in the room, come hang out with us. I really don't have anything planned for the last half of the year because I am finally taking my amazing race time that I was supposed to go on the show. And I ended up using it taking care of my mom all last year. So I'm going to take some time off, travel in Europe, and give myself a break after all these amazing events that we're hosting at the beginning of the year. So I hope to see you guys in the room. I am so grateful to be here with you on this full moon in Libra. I hope that you find your tribe, that you let go of any toxic relationships that no longer reflect your value, your worth, or pouring into you. And may you develop the most beautiful relationship with yourself so that every single moment of this lifetime with you, you get to experience that peace and love. I feel like when we can self-love, when we can love ourselves, like who cares about anything else? Like it's good because I'm good. So I wish you all the good and all the self-love and all the peace and prosperity this year. Okay, time for my recumbent bike. Thank you. Hope to catch you live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hello, Monica. Hello, Sarah. It's so good to see you. Hi, Ashley. Alana had nice boobs. I do remember that. She did. But I'm glad the boobs could bring girl power brought you back to life, Tamlin. I was like, I know she's okay if she's like pumped about the boobs. That was my one sign from spirit. I was like, is she gonna be okay? You have really nice boobs. Like she's gonna be fine. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you know a soul sister who would love this, please share it, tag them, spread the sparkle. You know what to do. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you guys next week. And then after that, I don't think I'll be on WooWoo because I'll be traveling for retreats and all the things, but we'll see. Next week for sure. I'll catch you then. I hope to see you in person. If not, I'll see you inside the Shine Tribe Sisterhood. All right. Peace, y'all. Have a beautiful day. Happy full